In this Kitchen Nightmares episode, Gordon Ramsay visits Chappy's on Church in Nashville, Tennessee. Chappy's is owned by John Chapman aka Chappy and his wife, Star. They opened their first Chappy's restaurant in Long Beach, Mississippi. Hurricane Katrina destroyed the restaurant, so they relocated to start again in Nashville. They opened their current Chappy's restaurant in 2005. As a result of the move, the restaurant declined. Chappy blames the locals for not knowing what Cajun cuisine is. Chappy frequently blames the customers as they hate the food. They are constantly sending dishes back with issues, but he does not accept their criticisms. The staff all think he is the problem as he isn't a good manager, and they think he has an ego problem. Footage is shown of him kicking out a customer after they made a complaint about a salad. Gordon visits the restaurant. As he enters, there is a mannequin dressed for a carnival, in a Mardi Gras costume. The server who greets him points out there is a lot of New Orleans paraphernalia all over the restaurant. Chappy is called to meet Gordon and he takes his time before coming out from the kitchen. Chappy describes his restaurant as casual even though the setup is quite formal. Chappy tells him that the locals have not welcomed them and he rates the food as October 10th. Gordon sits down at a table to look at the menus. They are big lunch and dinner menus with many items. There is also 15 extra specials that are not on the menu. TJ tells him that the menu is the same for lunch and dinner, but the price rises significantly from lunch to dinner. Gordon orders the steak and lobster rock, fried green tomatoes and gumbo from the menu. He is met by Chappy's wife Star. She tells him of her frustrations on how he does not listen to her suggestions of trimming down the menu. She thinks the food is excellent but just needs to be revamped and modernized. The fried green tomatoes are tasteless. The gumbo is cold, watery, and looks a mess. Gordon questions the lobster and steak as both the steak and lobster are tough, hard to chew and full of gristle. Gordon gives them feedback on the meals directly and Chappy has excuses for everything. Gordon tells the owners out of their staffs hearing that they are jokes. Gordon arrives for a dinner service. In the kitchen he finds a pot of oysters that have been stored at room temperature. He also sees the kitchen cook a steak in the same pan as fish that is for a pescatarian. Gordon is shocked when Chappy doesn't know what a pescatarian is and that they don't eat meat. Gordon corrects him but he does not take feedback. Gordon calls the customer to see the meal being cooked. She tells Chappy that she is pescatarian and meat juices could make her very ill. She gives feedback to her dinner companions that the kitchen is disgusting. Gordon decides to look in the fridge and sees lukewarm seafood, off meat and mold at the edges. He also finds mayonnaise that is now yellow as it had expired 3 years ago. There is rotted food and raw meat and cooked meat stored alongside each other. Gordon shows the owners. Chappy defends everything saying the problems just happened as he cleans and checks on things often. Star defends her husband as well and says he was not always that way. She says she isn't sure when he became this way but wants it to be better as she believes he cares about the restaurant. When Gordon leaves, Star confronts Chappy asking him to be open. Chappy and his staff clean out the freezer after work hours. Gordon meets with the staff the next morning and they air their frustrations. They say he is condescending and rude, refuses to answer their questions. It is not exclusive to staff but customers as well. They say Chappy is calmer with Gordon than he is normally. They are made to tell all this to Chappy directly. Chappy surprisingly apologizes and Star, who they had no problem with, is happy everything is in the open. The staff hope he is sincere and will change. Gordon is not convinced that Chappy is willing to change or has accepted his feedback. He invites previous, local customers to give feedback with Chappy and Star listening in. The locals have either not heard of the restaurant or have eaten there and had a bad experience. The locals have many complaints. They say that the food was not authentic Cajun or was overcooked. They think the food quality was poor, the meals were overpriced and the atmosphere was poor. The owners are surprised by all they hear and they now believe they need to make changes. Overnight, Gordon's team work on the restaurant, updating the dining room to be more modern. The walls have been brightened and the decor is less busy with more space and photographs of Louisiana to give a more casual ambience. Star is speechless and the staff are all happy with the changes. Chappy is not completely happy with it but accepts it. The menu has also changed. It has been reduced from 100 to just 22 items as well as being modernized. Gordon brings in chef Chris Fox to work in the kitchen so the transition to the new menu is easier. The staff also have new casual uniforms with casual shirts and pants. They open for the relaunch. Chris the chef is expediting. Chappy is not talking to anyone and is struggling with the new food. Customers do not get their food in a timely manner and Gordon has to call Chappy to the side to talk him up. Gordon has to ask Chris to step in as head chef is cutting corners. Chappy was cutting the meat to be able to serve quicker. Gordon was not happy. He was trying to lower the standards. Food starts coming out and the customers love the taste of the new meals. The relaunch night goes well but Chappy is not happy. Gordon tells the owners that after Chris leaves, they have to get a qualified chef in the kitchen. He thinks that Chappy should not be allowed to run the kitchen himself. Star promises not to let Chappy go back to his old ways. What happened next at Chappy's? In the following weeks, Chappy went back to his old ways. This was despite positive feedback about the changes that had been made. He brought back his old menu, his chef's hat and his temper returned. Chappy has since given many interviews including the National Enquirer. He claimed in these interviews that Gordon has wrecked his business. For weeks after the episode was filmed, Chappy changed the menu back to the old menu. He claimed that it had chased away his loyal customers. He says the customers weren't too happy with the new decor either and he also changed this. Reviews on Yelp reviews were mixed as to whether to prefer the old versus new. Chappy's closed on Tuesday, June 18, 2013. It closed as the restaurant was seized by the state due to non-payment of taxes. Chappy posted the below on Facebook. I love Nashville. Nashville's been great to us, and we love all our customers. This is a very sad day since we have worked so hard. We shouldn't have done kitchen nightmares. We have spent several months struggling to come out of a negative situation. Plans are forthcoming right now and in the meantime, we are taking a break and spending time with family. Thank you. Chappy blames the closure on his appearance on Kitchen Nightmares. He claims they had made false promises and he had no idea they were going to gut his restaurant. He opened Chappy's Bistro in the Almanet Hotel in November 2013. Chappy's Bistro closed less than a year later in October 2014. Chappy posted the below on Facebook. Chappy's Bistro is now closed. We are saddened by this turn of events which are beyond our control. We love our Gulf Coast. God bless and thank you, as always, for your continued support of me, my wife Star and my family. #closed #seafood #shrimp #Chappy's. Chappy opened Chappy's at 6106 in New Orleans. This closed after less than a year in October 2015 after they were unable to renew their lease. Chappy's most recent venture is Rum Kitchen, which opened in April 2016 and Yelp reviews were good. Rum Kitchen was sold to new owners in 2021. In 2024, he released a book called Passion to Profit, the true grit behind opening a successful restaurant. Chappy now does cooking demonstrations and consulting work. Chappy's was aired on May 3, 2013. The episode was filmed in December 2012 and is Kitchen Nightmares Season 6 Episode 14.